Hi, I'm really excited to bring this Christ Revealed interview to you. Let's go ahead and jump in. And it is so much about the land and God's promise, right?
Correct.
And Ben Gurion, didn't he I think eventually went back out to the desert,
Correct.
wanting to experience,
Yes.
saying this is what the experience we're supposed to
Yep.
have here.
And he was holding on to the promises that
Yes.
God said that he will bring that desert back to life.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, I'm going there and I'll do that. And you see, there's a whole generation of pioneers and they were non-believers.
Yeah.
But somehow God used that unbelievable generation, the greatest generation, I know you call that to your
Yeah.
veterans of World
Yes.
War II, to come and just fight the malaria, fight the terrorists and the Arab gangs all around before Israel was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, fight prejudice, from all around the world, and have the vision that what the Bible said regarding the future of Israel indeed will happen. You know, Mark Twain shows up in the middle of the 1800s, and all he can say about this land as a believer is, it's a barren wasteland.
Right.
Nothing grows here. And I haven't even seen a single living soul in this country. And then look what we have now. We export fruits and vegetables. We grow more species of fruit and vegetables than any other country in the world.
Yeah.
If that's not the hand of God, what is it then?
And walking through some of the markets this morning in Jerusalem and looking at just the abundance of food and things that are put out there, and I remember that Mark Twain quote and saying, how did it go from this point to this point?
Yes.
So what else do you see as far as prophecy that you like to highlight relative to your experience about biblical prophecy and what's happening in the world?
Well, the disciples, when they came to Jesus, they really honestly wanted to know the signs of the end.
Yeah.
I mean, people ask me, what are the signs of the end? I said, that's exactly the question the disciples asked Jesus. So let's find out what he answered, and then we'll know. Right. And so he said to them a few things. He said there will be wars and rumors of wars. Did you know that since World War II, the world did not have more than 14 days of peace? Not even 2 weeks.
Wow.
Since World War II. And then he says, nations against nation, but in the Greek, ethnos versus ethnos, which means ethnic groups against ethnic groups. It's not going to be countries necessarily. Look what's going on in Syria, ethnic groups. In Iraq, ethnic groups fight. In almost all over the world, it's ethnic groups are fighting each other. Whether it's race or religion or religious affiliation, it doesn't matter. We see that more than ever before. And then he said, it talks about the birth pangs with earthquakes and pestilences. And you know that we had a powerful earthquake, in Mexico, for example. But people don't know that there were 1,500 earthquakes in the last 360 days in Mexico.
Wow.
And I'm just talking about one country. All the scientists agree on one thing. We've never seen anything like that before, all over the world. Romans 8:22-24 talks about how all creation groans. I mean, it can't handle it anymore. Evil is all around. They can't wait for the appearance of the Lord and for the redemption of our body out of here. So I see the earthquakes and the pestilences. Look at the hurricanes. Look at the weather phenomena. Everybody is focusing on America, but I always tell people, America is not the whole world. Take a step backwards and see what happened in Sierra Leone, what happened in Bangladesh, what happens in India, and what happened in Southeast Asia. When Harvey took 30 lives, and then at the same exact 3 days, 1,200 people died in Asia. From floods and from cyclones and from typhoons. It's a worldwide phenomenon. So we see those things. And then Christ paused and he said, learn this parable from the fig tree. When its leaves are green, then you know that summer is near. And that was a parable. He's not talking about a fig tree. And the prophets Hosea and other minor prophets, they all say that Israel is God's fig tree. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus basically spoke about the restoration of Israel as the greatest sign of the end times. And here I am, a grandson of Holocaust survivors. My grandparents grew up in Poland, not even thinking in their dreams about moving to Israel. They had the good life in Europe.
Yeah.
Jewish people up until today think that they have the good life elsewhere. And I can tell you one thing. Look what happened. They managed to survive the most horrible genocide that we had in the last 300, 400, 500 years. And they moved all the way to Israel to start afresh. They actually founded a brand new city in Israel called Eilat on the Red Sea.
Yeah.
And they lost their son in the 1967 War of Attrition in October. And they paid the ultimate price. But here we are. And now I'm the second generation, and I was born in Jerusalem. Jerusalem. This coin is 1900 years old from the time of the Bar Kokhba revolt, and it says, to the freedom of Jerusalem. Jewish people minted this coin 1900 years ago with the hope and the dream that they will watch and see Jerusalem free, and I was born in Jerusalem.
Wow.
As a descendant of Holocaust survivors. So to me, you see, this is not just a coin. This is a piece of my heritage. I look at the city, it's part of me. I look at this country. I had multiple options to move out of this country and to live very comfortable life. I cannot even imagine doing that. This is where I belong. God did so many things and did, amazing things to bring us back here. And now he's protecting us. He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. And I'm telling you, the years when Israel didn't know if we will even make it tomorrow, those years of 1948 and 1956 and 1966, they're gone. Israel is no longer a country that can be wiped out within a day. Our enemies are afraid of us.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll give you a secret. The Saudi crown prince visited Israel 3 days ago in secret. They understood already, even in Mecca and Medina and Riyadh, that Israel is a fact. And if actually they want to do well, they better be on our side. And by the way, the Bible says that Sheba and Dedan, Saudi Arabia, will criticize the attack on Israel coming from the Russians, the Iranians, and the others. Amazing.
Thanks so much for joining us for this interview, for taking this Christ Revealed journey with us. Remember, if you haven't already, subscribe. That way you'll get notified about all the new content that's coming down the road. Comment. People want to hear from you, and then maybe you'll encourage somebody else to make a comment. If you did like it so other people know that it's something good for them to watch. And finally, share this. Send links to other people that you know and care about. Cost you nothing but maybe a few seconds of your time, but it might have a massive impact on their life. Anyway, really excited to be able to share this information with you. Thanks for tuning in.